Hello everyone. It's like I have forgotten what I'm doing, sorry. Clearly not set up, not organised at all. That's better. I've just realised that Roscoe is currently mowing the lawn, which is so loud. So give me 1 minute, come with me. We'll just go and ask him to stop mowing the lawn right outside the bedroom window. Hello and welcome. Sorry, not our normal start to our birth beat video. Poor bugger, you have to have a look at this. Hard at it. Sorry, mate, but you need to be quieter. Thank you, that's lovely, but I'm just gonna shut the door and continue with our live. Poor guy, he's like, what are you doing? I was like, we're going live. Much better, and I can concentrate. Hello and welcome. We have had a couple of weeks off, which has been lovely. So we went to the beach, hung out with my family. Unfortunately, my eldest sister lives on the Northern Beaches, so she wasn't able to join us, but it was just a proper break and so much what I needed. But we jumped on Facebook this morning and so happy to be back. Already so many questions coming in, so many babies being born. If you are new and this is the first time that you've grabbed one of our lives or just seen me pop up on your Instagram, my name's Edwina and I am a registered midwife. And I teach childbirth education classes when my husband's not loudly mowing outside our bedroom window. But we teach birth beat, which is all about, essentially as a midwife, I have supported hundreds of women to birth their babies, and I've seen the difference of women who arrive in the birth suite kind of feeling really anxious or scared or worried. But more importantly, or not more importantly, but just importantly, that their partner feels really scared or doesn't really know what their role is in the birth space. So we created Birth Beat, and it's really focused on not telling you how you'll birth, but saying, hey, here's everything that you need to know so that you can go and have an empowered, educated, positive birth experience, and so that your partner really enjoys the birth experience as well. So we also teach baby and child first aid classes because I'm an emergency nurse and a clinical nurse consultant, and just unfortunately time and time again see when parents don't know what to do when their baby or toddler is unwell. So that's me, that's what I do. And I'm just gonna jump on here. I jump on a couple of times a week just to answer your questions. So a few of you have already sent in questions, and I will save this live, so don't feel that you need to be worried. If you aren't able to watch the whole live, it will be here and it will be saved. But most importantly, let me know where you're watching from, so I'm not feeling weird sitting in my bedroom on a Monday night chatting to my phone. Where you're watching from, either if you're pregnant or you have a little newborn baby there and you have a question for me. And know that you can just ask a question at any stage. I will do my very best to answer it. If I'm not able to answer that question, I'll go to my brains trust of lactation consultants, women's health physios, obstetricians. But a lot of questions have already been sent in, and thank you so much via direct message from this morning. I did a little story this morning. So please say hello, let us know where you're watching from. I love knowing who I'm talking to. The first question is from Hayla. Hello, Hayla. I'm currently 19 weeks pregnant and have sharp, stretchy pains on my right side. Is it just the uterus expanding? Okay, awesome question, Hayla, and definitely something that we cover in our classes and super important for anyone who is currently experiencing this pain. So when you are pregnant, yes, there is a lot of stretching and there is a lot of tightness and ligament pain. Now, you at 18 weeks really fall into that sort of classic period of experiencing these types of pain. But I don't want to be dismissive of anyone who's experiencing pain in pregnancy. So if it is of concern to you, I definitely recommend mentioning it to your midwife or perhaps talking to a women's health physio. What I will say, and I'm sure that you know that feeling, Hayley, you go from feeling like you just get this all of a sudden a thickness here in your girth before you're actually showing a little bump. And it's often around that stage as the thickness starts to move to having a bump that you notice a lot of stretching and a lot of ligament type pain. Listen to your body, super important that you listen to your body. And if you have a job where you're on your feet a lot, try and get up and move every hour to hour and a half to stretch that area. If you are part of our online course, please make sure that you go and do our prenatal yoga that's in our course and the stretch and relaxation for your pelvis, hips, and upper thighs, because it's where you experience a lot of pain in pregnancy. So yes, it is normal, but I don't want you just to feel like you have to just live with that. There is definitely stuff that we can be doing to support you and to improve that and mean that the next, how many weeks are you? Yeah, the next 21, 22 weeks are far more comfortable than what you're experiencing. Madison has said, both my 11-month-old and me, 16 weeks pregnant, whoa, mama, have gastro. Any tips? I have heard that there is a nasty gastro virus going around. So, Maddie, I'm going to assume that your 11-month-old is still breast or bottle fed. Maybe you have already weaned, bub. For anyone who's watching who currently has a baby that is breastfed or bottle fed and experiencing gastro, it's important to understand that they are often still nose breathers. So if possible, be offering more feeds and more frequently, because they're not going to be feeding as effectively as they normally would be. So lots of cuddles, lots of kisses. The challenge for you, Maddie, is that you also are experiencing the gastro. So like with toddlers and like with babies, when I teach in the baby and child first aid, so our baby and child first aid actually talks about how to manage gastro. The challenge with you having it at the same time is that if you are breastfeeding, and particularly if you're pregnant, you're going to be depleted of energy really quickly. So hydration is key, and water is absolutely essential, but often it can make you feel nauseated as well. So just be drinking really small volumes. For your 11-month-old, don't be offering a big full sippy cup or bottle, because when you feel thirsty, you will drink large amounts. If you drink a large amount, particularly when you have gastro, often that will upset your stomach and you'll have a big vomit. So super duper important that you just offer small amounts. If a baby or a toddler was to come into the emergency department, we do what we call oral rehydration, where before having to put a drip into their hands, we'll offer them 10 and 20 ml syringes of oral rehydration, which is usually just a Hydralyte or a Hydralyte Isopol, just something in a syringe so that they're not having that big guzzle of fluid. The same thing for you, just be taking small sips of Hydralyte or something that is rehydrating you quite quickly, and that's why I say have this in your first aid kit. But it's super important that you stay hydrated, because dehydration is going to be the biggest risk and make you feel the most unwell. It is also the time, Maddie, to really embrace your family, your support, your village, so that you can go to bed. Remember, you're growing a human being. You need to just make sure that you take some time to look after yourself, and as best you can, be outsourcing the care of that little 11-month-old, because you are busy, mama. All right, hello. Beesh has said, hi Edwina, I have a 6-week-old. Is witching hour a thing? Every day, late afternoon and early afternoon, Bubba is very unsettled. How long does it last? Yes, 100% Beach. It is a thing. I think when you understand the developmental appropriateness of it, it will help you to manage that witching hour. So your little baby, when your baby was born, the brain wasn't fully developed. And the science behind that is that the brain is continuing to develop. And At the end of each day, your baby's exhausted, and the way that your 6-week-old baby can express that and express that exhaustion and express that processing of everything that they've learnt through the day is either through sucking, so nutritive or non-nutritive sucking. So non-nutritive sucking is sucking on a dummy, nutritive sucking on your breast or on a bottle, and often that is why people will, or babies will, feed more frequently at the end of the day, hence referred to as the witching hour. So what I say to my mamas who are doing Birth Beat course is prepare for that. It's not going to be for everyone, but just prepare for the possibility of that. And again, it's about just possibly cooking your evening meal in the morning, if that's something that you're doing, engaging your partner to cook your evening meal, thinking that that might be a nice time to go for a walk for yourself and have someone else nursing your baby, or just really giving that like 4:30 to 6:30 or that 5 to 7 p.m. each evening as I'm not expecting to achieve anything else but feeding this baby. And that helps to sort of relieve a lot of the stress for you, Beach, because it is a very common thing, and know that it will pass, okay? So it is a developmental stage for your baby, highly appropriate at the 6 to 12 week mark, and likely that it will pass. So good for you to know that it is super likely that it will pass. Elisa Carver has said, Bub is 6 weeks old and vomits after most feeds, breast and formula. Both vomit and spit up. Should I be worried? So Elisa, again, I don't want to give too specific medical advice, but around this, it's about the differentiation between a posit and a vomit. So is your bub's vomit projectile? And when I say projectile, like, you know, it actually comes out and has power behind it, and that's what we would refer to as vomit? Or is it a posit where essentially it just goes and bubbles out of the baby's mouth? I know that looks totally gross, but it's a really clear way for me to be able to explain. Often babies will posit lying in their cots, turning their heads to their side, or even just lying on their back, and they'll posit. Essentially, it looks like a bit of a volcano overflow. The reason posits happen is from your baby's mouth to their tummy is a big long tube that not yet has strength and muscle and everything involved where it can essentially keep the food in the tummy. It's got a little valve. Anatomically, I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, but about there. And that little valve is still floppy, like your baby is floppy. So everything is floppy. They're not like you and I. They don't have muscle on their tone. But that little valve there is still floppy as well. And often they can regurgitate essentially their feed or just bring it back up because it's really acidic and it goes into the tummy and then it can come back up. So posits we are not worried about. Projectile vomits, particularly if it's green or any color in nature, definitely we are worried about. The good thing as well is if you're worried, by all means, get them checked out by a GP, midwife, or how old are you? 6 weeks. If you haven't had your 6-week check with the obstetrician, definitely talk to the obstetrician about it. But it sounds like it's not something to be worried about to me. If it's just a posit, is bub continuing to gain weight, not distressed, sleeping well after feeds. Oh, I'm short of breath. I'm out of practice, guys. 2 weeks off, and look at that. Beckles has said, hi from Melbourne. Our 11-day-old sleeps great during the day, but between 1 to 7 a.m. will only settle sleep if being held. Any tips? Thanks. Yes, Beckles, absolutely I have tips for you. The first thing to know is it's great if bub is able to string, 3 to 4 hour sleep periods together. That's a good thing. At 11 days old, bub still is trying to work out their circadian rhythm, which means the day, nighttime. They've got a whole lot of maternal melatonin, which essentially just means a whole lot of your good sleepy vibes. So I wouldn't worry too much. I know that's super hard to handle. I would try looking with your partner to do some shift work. So you go to bed at 5 or 6 p.m., partner wakes you up for a feed, go back to sleep, partner nurses babe till 10, 11, 12 at night, puts baby to sleep, then you are on for the second stage. And I know that that sounds a little bit complicated, but it's just for these early days, just until bub works out the day-night rhythm. Super, super common. I know it's really tough, but the really reassuring thing is that you know that bub can have those longer sleeps, and soon that switch will happen. But for now, it's about preservation and self-preservation for you and your partner. I'd try a bit of shift work. So about 5 or 6 p.m, you're going to have dinner early. You're going to be having a nice warm shower and going to bed. Ideally getting a few hours sleep, having a feed, going back to sleep, having a few hours sleep while your partner nurses bub on the chest. And then vice versa, possibly you do the midnight to 6 a.m. shift. I know that sounds a little bit challenging, but I promise you it works hugely, and it's what I share with all my Birth Beat parents who do our online birth course. Heng says, hi from Sydney, 31 weeks pregnant, first birth. Would I be able to get epidural in time? How to tell early labour signs? Heng, you definitely need to come and join us for our Birth Beat course. We talk about the stages of labour and the different pain relief options, and when those pain relief options are available to you and when they're not available to you, and the difference in understanding what different pain relief options at different stages of labour. So come and check out our course at birthbeat.com. Beach has said, my baby only burps after a couple of feeds in a day. Should I keep persisting to get a burp every feed? No, Beach. If bub is breastfed, I wouldn't worry too much about burping. Often it's more if bubs are bottle fed that we find they really need the burping. Now, I had a couple of questions here as well that I haven't got to yet. Sorry. If 10-month-old bub has had runny nose and it's now a bit green mucousy, should we keep her off dairy? Look, probably not really. If there's not any other indications to keep them off dairy, it might just be that bub has what we call URTI, upper respiratory tract infection. Bubbies can get, did you say 10-month-old? Yeah, if they've not shown any other indication of a dairy intolerance, just because bub has a cold, I would not. But I am really conscious that we are in the times of COVID. If you are unwell, if anyone else is in the home of unwell, please just make sure that you follow the health guidelines for your state. The only thing I will say that is if bub presents a fever or a persistent fever, please make sure that you're getting them reviewed by a GP or a community health nurse. That is quite important. Narissa has said, should first-time parents do a birthing class? I love it. Partner isn't keen. Narissa, that is a fabulous question, and I think I'm going to probably be a little bit biased in the answer. And of course, I believe that everyone should do a birth class. However, I am quite biased because I am a childbirth educator. But why I do Birth Beat and why I consciously teach it online is a lot of partners feel really uncomfortable going into a classroom setting, going into a hospital setting with a bunch of strangers to talk about their partner's vagina and really essentially intimate details. And I know this because I have taught classes for 15 years. And that is the beauty of Birth Beat, is that your partner can sit with you with a drink in hand, in their trackies, watching it on the iPad or on the smart TV or on their phone when they're in transit to and from work. That is absolutely what's key, so that you as a couple can connect and make a plan and have a discussion about what you think your really private, intimate birth experience might look like, without your partner feeling like there's a whole lot of people watching and passing any judgment. And I totally 100% get it. But your partner not wanting to do classes is not an excuse for classes not to happen. Because I know, again, the birthing mother that I see in the birth suite who hasn't had classes, who hasn't had that opportunity, who is scared, who is tense, who is worried and has a long slow labor because they don't know what to expect and it's full of fear, compared to the woman who has done birth classes and she knows what to expect, she knows what's coming, she knows what it's going to feel like, she knows why it's going to feel like that. And that is why I teach Birth Beat, because it is absolutely crucial. And I know that for you and your partner, I can help it be a positive experience as opposed to experience of fear and just hoping that we can get it over and done with. So I 100% hope that you are still watching and that you get to see that and that your partner gets to see that. Plus, the beauty of Birth Beat is that we have a money back refund. So if you don't love it, if you don't feel like it's the right fit, so be it. That's fine. That's not the right choice for you. But I'm so confident that our classes will be able to support you and your partner that I get to say that. So, beautiful mamas, half an hour in, I am clearly out of breath, ready for a cup of tea. It is so good to be back. I love being able to connect with you. I love being able to answer all your questions. If you are looking for support to prepare for your best birth in a friendly, honest, evidence-based way that you can do in the comfort of your own home, come and check out birthbeat.com. Look in our bio. You will be able to see what we can offer. If maybe you've had your baby and you're worried because they have a fever or a breathing illness, or you're about to introduce solids and you're wondering about them worried about them choking, whatever that might be, perhaps you're even a little bit older and you're starting swimming lessons, or you're worried about them pouring hot water on themselves, come and do our baby and child first aid class. I don't want you to be the parent that doesn't know what to do when it's super important. Come and check out birthbeat.com. If you have any questions at all, just DM me and I'll do my very best to answer them. All right, big love. Talk to you all soon. Bye.